Have you ever felt that strange sensation, that inexplicable feeling that there's something more to reality than what you've been taught? That invisible thread connecting seemingly random events in your life? You're not alone. And you being here, watching this right now, it's not by chance. In the quiet moments between your thoughts, in those seconds where time seems to stand still, there's a question that keeps surfacing. Why do some people seem to effortlessly create the reality they desire, while others remain trapped in cycles of struggle, no matter how hard they try? What if I told you that the difference isn't luck or privilege or even talent? What if I told you that there exists knowledge, ancient, protected, and preserved through centuries, that explains the invisible architecture of reality itself? And what if this knowledge wasn't meant for everyone, but it was meant for you? The ancients understood something we've forgotten. Beneath the chaos of daily life, beneath the apparent randomness of success and failure, there exists a perfect order, a code that governs everything from the movement of planets to the circumstances of your life. These aren't just cosmic accidents. They're principles, laws as real and unyielding as gravity. For thousands of years, this wisdom was guarded by mystery schools, passed only to those deemed ready to receive it. It was whispered in temples, encoded in symbols, and hidden in plain sight, waiting for the right minds to recognize it. In 1908, a mysterious text emerged, written by authors who identified themselves only as the Three Initiates. This book, known as the Kybalion, distilled the essence of ancient Hermetic wisdom into 7 universal principles that explain everything. But here's what makes this different. These aren't just philosophical concepts to ponder. They're practical tools for conscious reality creation. Today, 3 of these powerful secrets will be revealed to you. Not because I've chosen you, but because you've chosen this. Your consciousness has aligned with this knowledge at precisely the right moment in your journey. The question isn't whether these principles are real. The question is, are you ready to use them? Because once you understand these 3 secrets from the Kybalion, you'll never see reality the same way again. And more importantly, reality will never treat you the same way again. Long before modern science, before organized religion as we know it today, there existed a figure whose name was whispered with reverence among the initiated, Hermes Trismegistus, the thrice great, the master of masters. In ancient Egypt, he was Thoth, the god of wisdom, writing, and magic. To the Greeks, he became Hermes, messenger of the gods, guardian of hidden knowledge. The fusion of these 2 powerful archetypes created a lineage of wisdom so profound that it survived the rise and fall of empires. Hermes is credited with founding the first mystery school in Egypt, a sacred temple where knowledge wasn't simply handed over, but experienced through initiation. His teachings were considered so potent, so transformative, that they were kept sealed from the uninitiated. This is where we get our modern term hermetically sealed, wisdom locked away, protected from those not ready to receive it. The core of Hermes' teaching survived through what scholars call the Hermetic tradition. While many of the original texts were lost in the burning of the Library of Alexandria, fragments were preserved, scattered across continents, guarded by those who understood their value. Then in the early 20th century, something remarkable happened. A book appeared that would change the landscape of esoteric knowledge forever. The Kybalion. Published in 1908, its authors chose to remain anonymous, signing only as the 3 Initiates. This wasn't out of fear or shame. It was because the wisdom contained within those pages wasn't about the messenger. It was about the message. The Kybalion isn't just another spiritual text. It's a distillation, a pure essence of Hermetic philosophy presented in a language accessible to the modern mind. While the words may be contemporary, the vibration, the energy behind them, pulses with the same potency as the ancient teachings carved into temple walls thousands of years ago. What makes the Kybalion unique is that it doesn't ask for blind faith. It doesn't demand that you accept anything without testing it yourself. Instead, it presents 7 foundational principles, 7 keys to understanding the mechanics of reality itself. These principles aren't religious dogma. They're not cultural beliefs or moral codes that change with time and place. They're universal laws that operate whether you believe in them or not, just as gravity doesn't care if you acknowledge it before pulling you toward the earth. Today, we're going to focus on 3 of these principles, The three most powerful secrets for those ready to take conscious control of their reality. These three alone, when properly understood and applied, can transform every aspect of your existence. The first is the principle of mentalism. The second is the principle of correspondence. And the third is the principle of vibration. Together they form a trinity of power, a framework for conscious creation that has been used by adepts, masters, and initiates throughout history to manifest their desired reality. You've likely heard fragments of these principles before. They've been referenced in countless spiritual teachings, self-help books, and even quantum physics. But rarely are they presented in their pure, unaltered form, as tools rather than concepts, as practical rather than theoretical. That changes today, because you're not here to simply learn about these principles. You're here to use them, to apply them, to test them in the laboratory of your own life. And when you do, when you begin working with these universal laws rather than against them, something miraculous happens. Reality begins working with you too. The first and most fundamental principle from the Kybalion is the principle of mentalism. The all is mind, the universe is mental. This seemingly simple statement contains within it the most powerful secret of creation. Everything, absolutely everything that exists, has existed, or will ever exist, is a projection of mind. Not your individual mind alone, but the universal mind, what some traditions call God, Source, or the Absolute. This isn't a metaphor. This isn't a spiritual platitude. According to Hermetic teaching, this is literally true. The entire universe is a mental creation occurring within the mind of the owl. Now here's where it gets truly fascinating and where your power begins. The Kybalion tells us, as above, so below. Your individual mind is created in the image of the universal mind. This means that your thoughts, your mental states, your deepest beliefs are not just passive reflections of reality. They are the very tools by which reality is shaped. Modern quantum physics has begun to catch up to what the Hermetic masters knew thousands of years ago. In the famous double-slit experiment, scientists discovered that the mere act of observation, of conscious attention, changes how particles behave. Matter itself responds to mind. But this principle goes far beyond the quantum level. It operates in your daily life in ways so consistent, so predictable, that once you recognize the pattern, you'll be astonished you never saw it before. Think of someone you know who constantly expects the worst, who lives in a mental state of anxiety, fear, and negativity. Look closely at their life. You'll notice that time and again, their fears manifest. Their worries become reality. The very things they most dread seem to find them with uncanny precision. Now think of someone who radiates certainty, who moves through life with an unshakable belief that things will work out, that opportunities will present themselves, that solutions exist for every problem. Watch how their reality unfolds. Doors open, synchronicities abound. The right people appear at just the right moment. This isn't coincidence. This isn't confirmation bias. This is the principle of mentalism in action. The universe is mental. Your reality begins not with your actions, but with your thoughts. Not with your words, but with your beliefs. Not with what you do, but with who you are being. So how do you apply this principle? How do you harness this power in practical terms? First, you must understand that your mind operates on multiple levels. There's the conscious mind, your active thoughts and immediate awareness. But beneath that lies the subconscious, the vast reservoir of beliefs, patterns, and programming that truly drives your reality. To change your reality, you must reprogram this deeper level. Here's how. Begin by becoming aware of your mental patterns. Notice the thoughts that run on autopilot. Pay attention to the beliefs that feel so natural you don't even question them. These are not facts, they're programs. And any program can be rewritten. Next, consciously choose new mental states. This isn't about positive thinking as a superficial exercise. This is about deliberately cultivating thoughts that align with your desired reality. If you want abundance, you must first become abundant in mind. If you want love, you must first embody love in your thinking. Then reinforce these new patterns through daily practice. Meditation, visualization, affirmation. These aren't New Age fads. They're technologies of consciousness that have been used by adepts for millennia to harness the power of mentalism. Let me share a real example. Sarah, a woman I worked with, had spent decades trapped in financial struggle. No matter what actions she took, working harder, taking courses, starting businesses, the result was always the same, barely enough to survive. When we examined her mental patterns, we discovered a belief installed in childhood. Money is hard to come by. This wasn't just a thought. It was a lens through which she interpreted every experience. Even when money came easily, she discounted it as an anomaly. For 3 months, Sarah committed to mental reprogramming. Every morning and evening, she immersed herself in the feeling of financial ease. She constructed detailed mental scenes of checking her bank account and feeling peaceful rather than anxious. She practiced thinking like a person to whom money flows naturally. Within 6 months, her income had tripled, not through radical action, but through opportunities she suddenly happened to notice that had been there all along. Within a year, her relationship with money had transformed entirely. This is the principle of mentalism. This is the power of mind over matter. This is the first secret of the Kybalion. Remember, the universe isn't happening to you, it's responding to you. Your mind isn't merely perceiving reality, it's creating it. And once you understand this principle, truly understand it, nothing will ever be the same again. Because when you change your mind, you literally change your world. The second powerful secret from the Kybalion is the principle of correspondence. As above, so below. As below, so above. As within, so without. As without, so within. This ancient axiom, inscribed on the emerald tablet attributed to Hermes himself, contains within it a key that unlocks the mysteries of all planes of existence. What does it mean in practical terms? It means that patterns repeat themselves across all levels of reality. There is a perfect correspondence, a mirroring between the macrocosm and the microcosm, between the universal and the personal, between the inner world and the outer world. This isn't just poetic symmetry, it's a functional mechanism of reality. Your inner landscape, your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and vibrations, is continuously being projected outward, manifesting as your physical reality. Your outer experiences aren't random or separate from you. They're reflections, precise, faithful reflections of what exists within you. Think of it like this. Your inner world is like a projector, and your outer reality is the screen. Whatever film is running inside will inevitably appear outside. This correspondence is exact, consistent, and unwavering. The power of this principle becomes evident when you truly grasp that nothing in your experience is accidental. Nothing is happening to you. Everything is happening from you, through you, as a result of your inner state of being. The chaos in your external environment, it corresponds to chaos in your mind, the struggle in your relationships. It corresponds to inner conflict, the limitation in your finances. It corresponds to beliefs about scarcity. But here's the liberating truth. This principle works just as powerfully in the positive direction. Inner peace creates peaceful circumstances. Inner clarity attracts clear opportunities. Inner abundance manifests as external prosperity. Now, I want to be clear, this is not about blaming yourself for negative circumstances. This is about empowering yourself to change them by understanding the correspondence between inner and outer realities. So how do you apply this principle in your daily life? First, begin to see your external reality as feedback, not fate. When challenges arise, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this reflecting back to me?" Use your circumstances as a mirror to see what's happening within your consciousness. Second, work from the inside out, not the outside in. Most people try to change their circumstances directly. They push against conditions, fight situations, struggle with symptoms. But the master of Hermetic principles knows that lasting change always begins within. Third, practice conscious inner alignment. Before taking action in the world, align your mental and emotional state with your desired outcome. Feel the feelings you would feel if your goal were already achieved. Think the thoughts you would think if your vision were already realized. Let me share a powerful example of this principle in action. Michael was a brilliant entrepreneur whose business partnerships consistently ended in betrayal and conflict. Despite changing industries, locations, and even legal structures, the pattern persisted. Partner after partner would eventually undermine him, steal from him, or sabotage their shared venture. When we explored his inner landscape, we discovered a profound distrust that had been programmed through early childhood experiences. Though consciously he wanted trusting partnerships, internally he was vibrating with the expectation of betrayal. Following the principle of correspondence, Michael began working on his inner state rather than trying to fix his partners or create better contracts. He engaged in daily inner work to heal the root of his distrust. He visualized successful, harmonious partnerships. He practiced feeling trust and safety in his body. Within months, the external reality began shifting. His existing business relationships transformed, becoming more transparent and supportive. New opportunities emerged that brought him into contact with integrity-driven partners. The pattern that had plagued him for decades gradually dissolved. This is the principle of correspondence at work. The relationship between inner and outer reality isn't merely correlative, it's causative. Change within creates change without. There's a profound freedom in this understanding. It means you're not at the mercy of circumstances. You're not a victim of conditions. You're the creator of your reality through the conditions you establish in your inner world. Look around you. Your home, your relationships, your career, your health. None of these are accidents. All are perfect reflections of your inner state of being. And if there's any aspect of your life you wish to change, now you know the secret. Start within. Adjust the inner, and the outer must follow. This is cosmic law. This is the principle of correspondence. This is the second powerful secret of the Kybalion. As within, so without. Always and in all ways. The third and perhaps most transformative secret from the Kybalion is the principle of vibration. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. At first glance, this might seem like a simple observation about the physical world. But in Hermetic understanding, this principle reveals something far more profound and far more useful for conscious reality creation. The Kybalion teaches that the differences between matter, energy, mind, and spirit are merely differences in vibration. From the densest rock to the most refined thought, everything exists on a continuous spectrum of vibrational frequency. Matter vibrates at the lowest, slowest rate, which is why it appears solid and fixed to our senses. Energy vibrates faster, which is why it appears more fluid and changeable. Mind vibrates at an even higher rate, and spirit, the highest vibration, is so rapid that it appears to be at rest, much like how a rapidly spinning wheel can appear motionless. Modern science has confirmed what the ancient Hermetic masters knew intuitively. Quantum physics shows us that at the subatomic level, everything is in constant motion. What appears solid is actually mostly empty space filled with vibrating particles. Your body, which seems so solid, is actually a vibrating field of energy. But here's where the principle becomes truly powerful. You can consciously control and change your vibration. And when you change your vibration, you literally change what you attract and create in your life. The Hermetic masters understood that like attracts like, not just in terms of physical magnetism, but in terms of vibrational resonance. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are, what you vibrate in harmony with. This explains why some people seem to effortlessly attract abundance, love, and opportunity, while others continuously struggle despite their best efforts. It's not about what they're doing differently, it's about what they're being differently, the vibrational frequency they're maintaining. So how do you apply this principle to transform your reality? First, become aware of your current vibrational state. Your emotions are the best indicators of your vibration. Joy, gratitude, enthusiasm, and love are high-frequency states. Fear, anger, guilt, and apathy are low-frequency states. Notice what you're feeling throughout the day without judgment. Second, understand that you can deliberately raise your vibration. Unlike physical objects, consciousness can shift its vibrational rate through attention and intention. You have the power to tune yourself like an instrument, to resonate at higher frequencies. Third, practice vibrational management as a daily discipline. This isn't about suppressing negative emotions or forcing positivity. It's about consciously choosing the energy you want to embody and finding authentic ways to sustain that frequency. Let me share a remarkable example of this principle in action. Elena had been trapped in a cycle of financial hardship for nearly a decade. Despite working multiple jobs and constantly searching for opportunities, she remained in a state of barely getting by. More troubling was the emotional weight she carried, a constant anxiety about money that permeated every aspect of her life. When she discovered the principle of vibration, Elena realized something profound. She was trying to attract abundance while vibrating at the frequency of scarcity. Her dominant emotional states, worry, stress, and fear about money, were keeping her locked in the very reality she was trying to escape. Elena began a deliberate practice of vibrational shift. Each morning, she would immerse herself in the feeling of abundance, not by imagining what she would buy, but by cultivating genuine gratitude for what she already had. Throughout the day, she would catch herself when she slipped into scarcity thinking and consciously shift back to abundance feeling. The most powerful practice was what she called her prosperity meditation. For 20 minutes each evening, she would sit in silence and simply feel what it would be like to be financially free. The peace, the ease, the generosity it would engender. She wasn't visualizing specific amounts. She was attuning to the vibration of prosperity. Within weeks, subtle shifts began to occur. A friend mentioned a job opening that perfectly matched her skills. At twice her current salary, an unexpected tax refund arrived. A chance encounter led to a side project that generated passive income. Within 6 months, her financial reality had completely transformed. But more importantly, her relationship with money had changed at the vibrational level. Even before the external circumstances shifted, she had already begun living in a state of abundance internally. This is the principle of vibration at work. Your vibrational state is not just a response to your reality, it's the cause of it. Change your vibration, and reality must realign to match it. This is universal law. The most powerful aspect of this principle is that it works regardless of your current circumstances. No matter how entrenched your situation may seem, a sustained shift in your vibrational state will inevitably create movement. Physics demands it. Hermeticism confirms it. Experience proves it. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every belief you hold is creating a vibration. And that vibration is drawing to you corresponding experiences, people, and opportunities, or their absence. You are not a passive recipient of reality. You are a vibrational being in a vibrational universe, broadcasting a signal every moment of every day. And the universe is responding with perfect precision. This is the principle of vibration. This is the third powerful secret of the Kybalion. This is your key to conscious creation. Change your vibration, and you change everything. Now that you understand these three powerful principles from the Kybalion, let's step back and see how they transform your entire perspective on reality. What if everything you've believed about how life works has been incomplete? What if the struggles, the frustrations, the sense of being at the mercy of circumstances, all of it was simply the result of working against these principles rather than with them? Most people live their entire lives never questioning the fundamental nature of reality. They accept the material world as primary, their thoughts as secondary, and their circumstances as largely outside their control. They push against conditions, struggle with symptoms, and wonder why change is so difficult. But you now understand something different. You now see that reality operates from the inside out, not the outside in. The principle of mentalism shows us that the universe is mental, that everything begins in mind, not matter. Your thoughts aren't just responses to reality, they're the very substance from which reality is shaped. The principle of correspondence reveals that your outer world is a perfect reflection of your inner state. There are no accidents, no coincidences, only mirrors showing you what you're holding within. And the principle of vibration demonstrates that you're not a solid, fixed entity, but a vibrational being in constant communion with a vibrational universe, attracting experiences that resonate with your dominant frequency. Together, these principles don't just explain reality, they explain your creative relationship with reality. Consider how this shifts your understanding of problems. What you've called problems, health challenges, financial struggles, relationship conflicts, are not random misfortunes happening to you. They're precise feedback mechanisms showing you where your inner world needs attention. Consider how this transforms your approach to change. You no longer need to fight against conditions or force outcomes. You simply need to shift the inner pattern, and the outer must follow. This is efficiency. This is leverage. This is working with universal law rather than against it. Consider how this alters your sense of personal power. You are not a victim of circumstances, but a creator of reality. Not through magical thinking or wishful fantasy, but through the conscious application of universal principles that govern all creation. The great psychiatrist Carl Jung, who was deeply influenced by Hermetic philosophy, said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." This is the essence of what the Kybalion offers, a pathway to make the unconscious conscious, to bring the invisible mechanics of reality into the light of awareness so that you can work with them deliberately. And here's something you might find both challenging and liberating. According to these principles, everything you're experiencing right now, everything, is perfectly aligned with your inner state of being. Your reality isn't punishing you or blessing you, it's reflecting you. This doesn't mean you should blame yourself for negative circumstances. Blame is a low vibrational state that only perpetuates problems. Instead, use this understanding as a tool for conscious creation. If reality reflects mind, and you can change your mind, then you hold the power to change your reality. These three principles of the Kybalion aren't abstract philosophy. They're not religious dogma. They're practical tools for living, technologies of consciousness that have been used by adepts throughout history to shape reality according to their will. And now they're yours. But there's something important you should understand about why you're encountering this wisdom now. The Kybalion itself says, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. These principles don't reveal themselves by accident. Knowledge of this depth finds you when your consciousness has evolved to the point where you can receive it, when you're ready to take responsibility for your creative power. Your presence here right now, listening to these words, is not coincidence. It's correspondence. Something within you has been calling for this knowledge, vibrating in harmony with it, creating the bridge that connects you to it. You were chosen because you chose this, perhaps not consciously, but at some deeper level of your being. And that choice signals a readiness to step into a new relationship with reality itself. We began this journey with a simple question. Why do some people effortlessly create the reality they desire, while others remain trapped in cycles of struggle? Now you understand, it's not luck, it's not privilege, it's not even talent. It's consciousness applied through a universal law. The three powerful secrets from the Kybalion, mentalism, correspondence, and vibration, aren't just concepts to understand intellectually. They're tools to be wielded consciously. They're powers to be embodied fully. They're keys that unlock capabilities most never realize they possess. The most profound revelation isn't that these principles exist, it's that you've always been using them. Every moment of every day, you've been creating through mentalism, manifesting through correspondence, and attracting through vibration. The only difference is whether you've been doing so consciously or unconsciously. Your life as it exists right now is a testament to the perfect operation of these laws. There are no accidents. There are no mistakes. There is only cause and effect, vibration and attraction, inner and outer in perfect correspondence. And therein lies your freedom. If you've created your current reality unconsciously, imagine what you can create consciously. Starting today, begin working with these principles deliberately. Remember that reality is mental. Watch your thoughts. Curate them with the same care you would use tending a garden that feeds your family. Because in a very real sense, that's exactly what they are. Honor the correspondence between inner and outer. When challenges arise, look within first. What are they reflecting? What are they teaching? What internal shift would create external change? Manage your vibration as your most precious resource. Pay attention to how you feel moment by moment. Choose deliberately the emotional frequencies you maintain. Become a conscious broadcaster rather than an unconscious reactor. These practices aren't complicated, but they require presence. They demand awareness. They ask you to live awake rather than asleep at the wheel of your own creation. Hermes Trismegistus didn't guard this knowledge to keep it from humanity. He protected it for humanity, preserved it for those who would use it consciously, responsibly, with awareness of its power. You are now the carrier of this wisdom. You are now the keeper of these keys. You are now awakened to laws that most will never consciously perceive, though all are subject to their perfect operation. Use this power wisely. Use it compassionately. Use it to create not just for yourself, but for the highest good of all. Because ultimately, that's the final secret. The Kybalion reveals, we are not separate creators working in isolation. We are individualized expressions of the one mind, co-creating a shared reality. As you raise your consciousness through the application of these principles, you contribute to the raising of all consciousness. As you liberate yourself from unconscious creation, you help liberate others. As you step into your power as a conscious creator, you help awaken that same power in everyone you touch. This is your invitation. This is your initiation. This is your remembering. You weren't chosen by chance. You chose this knowledge by becoming ready for it. And now that you have it, nothing will ever be the same again. The question isn't whether these principles work. The question is, how will you use them? The universe awaits your conscious command.